Disney versus the original stories. The fairy tales and fables that inspired Disney's family-friendly films are often far more sinister than their animated adaptations. Here, we share the dark original tales behind your favorite Disney films. Here, we take a look at the dark and disturbing stories and tales that inspired the Disney classics. In the Disney version of Hans Christian Andersen's tale, Ariel eventually wins the heart of Prince Eric, gets her voice back and celebrates with a beautiful wedding on a boat, surrounded by her aquatic friends and family. In Hans Christian Andersen's original story, things don't end so rosily. In fact, the story is tragic throughout, with Ariel's transformation to human causing her constant agonizing pain, before her heart is broken when her prince marries someone else. The sea witch informs her that if she kills the prince she will turn back into a mermaid and live, but Ariel chooses to sacrifice herself, throwing herself into the sea and becoming sea foam. Disney have been inspired by the heroic female warrior, not once but twice, first in their 1998 animated adaptation, and now in the live-action remake starring Liu Yifei. Both films follow quite closely the original poem, The Ballad of Milan, but the 1695 version of the tale included in the Sui Tong romance takes a darker turn. When Milan takes her father's place in the army, she meets the king's daughter, who is also a warrior. The two become inseparable, and when the king is defeated they offer to be put to death in his place. They are eventually spared, but when Milan returns home she finds that her father has died and her mother has remarried. With her female identity revealed, Milan is ordered to become a concubine, but she commits suicide rather than submit to this fate. Was Disney's first animated feature film, and has become an undisputed classic since its release in 1937. The film is a fairly faithful retelling of the fairy tale that appears in the Brothers Grimm collection, with one exception. While the film ends with the prince awakening Snow White with a kiss and taking her to his castle, the original story sees the evil queen attend the subsequent wedding, where she is recognized by the prince and made to dance, quite literally until she drops, in a pair of red-hot iron slippers. Pinocchio was Disney's second animated feature film, and features one of the best-loved Disney songs, When You Wish Upon a Star. Disney's version is surreal enough, with blue fairies, boys transformed into donkeys and Geppetto living in the belly of a whale, but it's got nothing on Carlo Collodi's dark original. The story was originally published as a serial, with Pinocchio accidentally killing a talking cricket, falling asleep on a stove and burning his feet off and being hung by a rather evil talking cat and fox duo, while poor Geppetto lives on a ship inside the terrible dogfish for 2 whole years before being rescued by his wooden son. Disney's animated classic is fun for all the family, complete with singing mice, a kindly fairy godmother, and a show-stopping dress. In the Brothers Grimm version, Cinderella still gets her happily ever after, but her evil stepsisters get a much gorier comeuppance. After one sister tries to trick the prince into believing she's his true love by cutting off her toe to fit into Cinderella's shoe, and the other tries the same trick by cutting off a part of her heel, Cinderella and the prince are reunited and happily wed, with Cinderella's pigeon pals plucking out her stepsister's eyes as the post-wedding entertainment. Rapunzel, in Disney's Tangled, is a modern-day heroine, breaking out of her tower to explore the outside world and getting into a lot of trouble along the way. In the original story, she has an even tougher time of it, shorn of her hair and cast out into the wilderness when the witch holding her captive learns that a prince has been visiting her nightly. When the prince visits again, the witch tricks him into climbing the tower using Rapunzel's cut-off hair, only to push him from the tower. He is blinded in the fall and wanders the wilderness until he is reunited with Rapunzel and the twins she has given birth to, guided back to her by her beautiful singing voice. The tears of happiness that Rapunzel cries restore the prince's sight, and they all live happily ever after. Disney's The Hunchback of Notre Dame, certainly one of the darker animated films in their vast back catalog, ends happily, with Quasimodo saving Esmeralda, accepting that she loves another and leaving the cathedral to be welcomed into society as a hero. In Victor Hugo's novel, however, the story has a much sadder ending, with Quasimodo's guardian Archdeacon Frollo betraying Esmeralda and sending her to her death. When he laughs as Esmeralda is hung, Quasimodo kills Frollo and visits the cemetery where he mourns Esmeralda, eventually dying of starvation on her grave.